Aloha, everybody. Welcome to this bonus good shit. Welcome from me, 420 Chilli Sash, and my mate up there. Hello. That is the lovely Dylan, head honcho of Beyond Heat in Alberta, Canada. Do you know who they are? Maybe not. Hey, Dylan, tell them, who's Beyond Heat? What you do?
Oh, hey guys, we're one of the largest selections of hot sauces and rubs in southern Alberta, soon to be the biggest in Alberta. We're a veteran-owned company. We opened the doors on bricks and mortar August of last year. We've been in operation over 3 years, online and local markets. Finally decided that, hey, the people need to stay spicy. They need a place they can go on a regular basis, hence why we opened the store. Very proud to bring over 400 SKUs right now registered on our website. Apparently, I have a small addiction where what I have is not enough and I need more. So we're looking to hit over 500 by the end of the year.
Let me just stop you there. You got 400 products knocking around there.
Depending on supplies from our guys out of the US, out of Belize. We have some from Northern Scotland. We're trying to set up arrangements in Europe. Gets a little tough sometimes, but yeah, so right now registered, I think we're about 420, 440. Funny, 420. Well, let's go with 420.
It's perfect for us. Well, how on earth do you even begin to get to that kind of number of hot sauces? I mean, I'm a hot sauce collector. I've got a lot of it around me, but how do you even begin down that path?
I had a store many years ago out in Eastern Canada, and I owned a commercial building, and I already owned a sex store, and I had a vacant part of the commercial building, and I'm like, what's missing out here? A hot sauce store. And funny, I don't know how the two went together, but they did. And we started.
Hopefully not too closely. You don't want to mix up the lubricant and the hot sauce. That would be a bad move.
Oh, it'd be a spicy move.
Ooh.
But we started small. We looked at local crafters. Then I found a Canadian supplier at that time, went through the book of products, didn't really know a lot about the products other than what I personally liked. So I kind of picked products based on the name or the picture of the label. Fast forward, had that for a couple of years. Fast forward, came back west to Alberta, Canada. Didn't really do anything with it, kind of shut the business down, concentrated on my other passion, which was financing at the time. Then Southern Alberta, we relocated down here about 4 years ago, and we love to entertain. And we had a lot of guests in the house one time, and I brought out a collection of hot sauces. As yourself, you always have random ones from anywhere and everywhere, and there's always a story behind the bottle. And people are like, Dylan, where did you get this? I'm like, well, just any local store. They're like, dude, there's no store down here. And then the light bulb went off. I went, really? There's no specialty hot sauce store in Southern Alberta. You can buy generic stuff at the grocery store. Who cares? If they can buy it at the grocery store, they can buy it on Amazon, the big box Walmarts, whatever. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. So I started researching what would be important in the gourmet field. So we did that. I changed the name from my old store name to Beyond Hot, registered my website, registered a couple of different names, and went, let's do this. So we started partaking in local events here, found a couple of US suppliers to get some really unique products that had great reviews on Google, and slowly started doing more research and adding to the product list. But a lot of it came from research and development, I guess you could say. Hey, this one got great reviews. Everyone knows the show, The Hot Ones. That did a tremendous impact on the Chilli Nation. Those guys, I can't speak highly enough of those guys and what they helped all of us small guys do. I'm not a corporate store. I funded this on my own back. So I'm a guy that really wants to stick it to the corporate guys because I think we have more to prove. We want to be more sociable with our customers. We want to have that personal touch. I don't just want to order from a catalog and going, oh, ABC and XYZ sauce. I want to have those unique crafters. I want to have that experience that the customer comes in and they don't mind spending 15, 20 minutes here, the sample station, you know, and educating them on what good sauces are from all regions of the world. That's kind of how we kind of started growing. And it's a learning experience. I learn every day.
And so you started the general business a few years ago. Yeah, 4, did you say? I think so. Yeah.
Correct. The Beyond Hot version we started 4 years ago, and we did 3 years basically of online and local farmers markets, trade shows, stuff like that, where it was just weekend work, really. What it was a side hustle.
And then you opened the bricks and mortar store in August last year. Do I have the time frame right?
That's exactly correct. Now, there's a prelude up to why we opened up the store. In May, an unfortunate incident. I lost my father to old age and a disease. So he passed away. And then 2 weeks later, I had an early 20-year-old daughter that passed away from a fentanyl overdose.
Okay.
So June, I really shut down. I really became isolated, didn't really want to talk to anybody. Yeah, I went to work, wasn't really happy anymore. As being ex-military, you really suppress a lot of the feelings. July, I don't know what happened in July, but something went off inside of me going, hey, I don't want to end up like that and have a regret. Is it sad my daughter passed away? 100% it's sad. It should have cost her life for one bad decision. My father passed away. It was his time. I get it. Still sad though.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend and I, we really had a really kind of heart to heart because I became a true asshole for a bit because I just became very dark. I mean, it's hard to explain it unless you go through it. And it's something
Death will do that to you. I mean, I had my what's the word in English? Fiance. My fiance passed away 2014. She was 23. It was very unexpected. Went to bed healthy, woke up, had breakfast, and that was the end of her. And I can attest to the fact that, and those of you out there who've never experienced something like that, like my boy Dylan has, or I just explained, I hope you never do experience something like that, but it can send you to a very dark place, and you can become a bit of a shitbag. I did, and you did too, huh?
100%. And like you said, until you deal with that, and you know, my father, like I said, was kind of expected. I mean, it's still never expected, even when you expect it.
Yeah.
The real one that broke my back was my daughter. I mean, you know, I hadn't been in touch with her in a while because of her addiction, but she beat it. She went to rehab, had one relapse with a friend. Shit happens. So when I finally started dealing with those processes, I really wanted that passion of mine to come through. And it wasn't working for somebody else. That wasn't my passion. I'm good at whatever I do because I put everything into it. So I talked to Barbara and I said, what do we need to do? And she goes, we need a location. Well, where do we need to go? We looked at a couple of corporate locations, corporations, and this is what fueled me to be bigger and better than any corporation, because every corporate location we looked at, assholes to deal with. This is what they want. Otherwise, they will not deal. They don't care if it sits empty. You have to answer to them. And I'm like, I don't like that. I want to work with a landlord that wants to work with me. If I'm successful, that means I'm going to stay. And that's money for him. So we ended up finding a location late in the day. I can't remember what day it was. We reached out to him and I said, I know it's like past 5 o'clock. Is there any way we could come see it? He's like, yeah, he says, I can meet you there in 10 minutes. No problem at all. I'm like, oh, phenomenal. So we came and looked at the place at about a 5:30 in the evening. Loved it, fell in love with the place. It works for us because there's no windows. Windows and hot sauce do not get along. We have a little window off the side of my desk here, and we have our glass front door. Other than that, there's not a window in the place. And I'm like, this would work. We have our idea for shelving, for an island piece and everything. I'm like, we're both picturing it in our minds. We're like, oh my God, this is going to work. We got a massive storage room for our big shipments. And I'm like, okay, so we went home. We talked about, we didn't obviously tip our hand to the landlord at that time. We went home and I said, it's shit or get off the pot time. If we're going to do it, let's do this. And we did. We called him back at 8 o'clock that night, says, we'll take it. He's like, really? I go, yeah. And so we sent him who we are, and smart landlord did his research and went, oh, these guys aren't new. They've been around for a while. I've done a lot of stuff locally that I was entered into the newspaper for local advertisement because I did different events. Radio personalities have interviewed me on the radio, just explaining what we do. So he came back to us with a long-term deal. and we were more than happy to sign it. So we're going to be here for a while.
I bet you fucking up. But for people out there in TV land, if you're not watching this now, and when I say now, I mean in our time frame, at the moment, we're sitting somewhere, hopefully, at the arse end of a global pandemic. COVID pandemic is what it is. And last year, August, when the bricks and mortar store there was opened, that would be right slap bang in the middle of global lockdowns. Yes. And restrictions on people going out and restrictions on people entering shops. And yeah, how the fuck, first of all, that's some balls you've got there, man. That's as the Spanish would say, that's a set of kahuna right there. But then how, and was Canada not in a lockdown in that phase of the pandemic?
One of the worst ones we had. There was businesses that shut down because they couldn't afford it. We didn't have to worry about employees. We could do the shop ourselves, because when I decided to do this, I jumped in. I said, I'm leaving the job that I'm working with right now, and I'm jumping in with both feet. We're open 7 days a week. I'm here every day or bar biz. So it's one of us that's always here, no matter what. We actually started looking a year previously, and when COVID hit, we kind of put everything just off to the side, not necessarily on the back burner, but wanted to be cautious about what was happening with the restrictions, the lockdowns, and everything. Now, here's what we found out. Hot sauce is a food item. The government will shut down a food store. Hence, they would never shut us down. Thing about that. And I learned that because I'm like, when you fill out all your applications for import, export, taxes, and everything else, you fall under a food category. That's why hot sauce in Canada is not taxable by provincial tax, as we don't have any here, or it's not GST applicable because it's a food. So I'm like, okay, we don't have to worry about shutting the doors. Now we have to worry about markets. Markets got shut down, so we couldn't do those. People coming in and out, yeah, what were we mitigated to? I think 50% of the fire code. That's okay. In a hot sauce store, it's never packed unless you're giving stuff away for free. And customers will always be happy to take their time, hang outside, sit in the car, they'll wait their turn, whatever it happens to be. And I think in Canada, that extra year that we waited actually helped us be successful to where we're at now, because when COVID hit and they shut down any restaurant, you could not eat in any restaurant, period, whatsoever. Yeah. So nobody was going out. So that forced everybody to eat at home. And what that did is that forced the home delivery companies into more business. People started eating better for the most part. They still ate their junk food, but they started enjoying food at home again, where we're not going to the McDonald's. We're not going to the fast food place. We're not going to have a steak at wherever. They started eating at home. And then people started exploring different sauces from friends of friends of friends. Oh, yeah. Hey, I tried this on my steak. I tried this with my shrimp. So it started promoting the Chili Head Nation locally, we feel, because people wanted a better experience at home.
Astonishing. I mean, we had similar experiences, you and me, in that respect of this lockdown phase. We are a hot sauce shop here. You could say people buy hot sauce from us here in this location. But we are also a Jewish delicatessen, and so people eat here. And so similarly to you, because here where we are in Germany, in Bavaria, they closed down the restaurants. You know, there was no going in the restaurant to sit down and eat, you know, but there was allowed to buy from outside, you know, so people could kind of walk up outside, or delivery could happen. We built a delivery structure at the time. But they also closed down the shops, like non-essential shops. But what that meant was we kind of qualified in a gray area. And so we were kind of a shop, but kind of a to-go food place. And for the people, the response was, it was a bit like pent-up frustration, pent-up need to buy stuff. And so when they could see a door open and they could order a Jewish deli sandwich or something from us, they could have a peek inside and they'd be like, motherfucker, there's a shop. I can buy some shit. And then they'd buy some shit, And so I think much like you, a lot for us of these, I always said the same thing during the COVID. Every time during the COVID, it's still happening right now. In the harder times at the beginning, every time they brought in a new restriction, I felt like someone had fired a bazooka at me and the missile just skimmed past my head, like that. Yeah, strangely, it was good for us as well. But when you opened that shit up in August last year, were you able to do that without needing to go to any banks or anything like that? I mean, I can't imagine banks being very good for the lending in that time.
No, I worked in finance for many years, so I kind of knew that a new venture in their mind, because new city, new location, new name, you don't have a 3-year history. And this is the bank's biggest problem, is that they don't look at the small guy. Because I wasn't going to be a franchise, I wanted to be my own guy. I wanted my own rules. I wanted to answer to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the bank wouldn't be helpful. So, we had to do a bit on the credit card, but that's okay, because when you're buying from suppliers outside of your hometown, credit card's the best way to go, because if there's a problem, you've got a recourse to recoup that money.
Yeah.
So that we did. Our own finances we did as well. We had squirreled away quite a bit for our retirement, and the decision was, well, let's tap into that. We're not going to burn it all, but let's tap into some of it and use it. And we fund the deal ourselves. We'll get that. It might take 3, 4, 5 years, but we will get that money back. But that way we're not paying interest on it, and we don't owe anybody anything. This is all our own stuff. We own everything inside the store. We owe the bank nothing.
I'm sorry, but I can't resist this any longer. I have to see what what does your place look like? Can you show us what does 420 hot sauces look like in one shop? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you think I'm being a fanboy here, I am. I can't help myself. This is fascinating. Come on, Dylan, show us.
We'll take a walk through. Now, we got just over about 1,200 square feet. It's not all shop space. We do have a large storage room in the back. So when you walk in the door, I'm standing in the doorway, as you can see it behind me. To the left, we have, some little marks, some fun stuff on the wall.
Nice. Do I see a heating up? Was that a heating up the Capitol poster I saw there? Or did I imagine that?
There's a couple different posters there. Then we come over to here. And this is my personal rack where I just kind of showcase some of the stuff I've collected over the years, just some really neat stuff.
Oh, stop right there. Did I just see a first run bottle of Hot A or Dirty Sanchez maple syrup by the Capsaicin in the old bottles? Fuck's sake. Okay, for people out there, that you can see right there is a hell of a collector's item. That bottle is no longer used. Oh, and talking collector's item, we're with the same people, the Capsaicin Cartel. That is Kill Vlad, limited edition to, I believe, 48 bottles. Bottle number 3 is with our boy over there. And I know bottle number 48, the last bottle, is in Montreal with the globally famous chili head, J. Bob. Wow, you've got some collector's items there, buddy boy.
We love it. And then we have a sale area where we have manufacturers that are changing their labels, or we have slow moving product that we want to try and enhance for people. So we offer some good discounts there. And then we also have some other stuff that are just kind of unique items. So as you can see, we've got these guys from Ontario, and we have some sale items from PEI, Tennessee. Another fun one that we have from Capsaicin is a Cranberry Massacre.
The Cranberry Massacre, yeah.
We got some drink mixes that we do in-house here. And then
what drink mixes do you make? What drink mixes?
4 drink mixes. We have a spicy mango habanero, a bacon Bloody Mary, a Serrano Bloody Mary, and a habanero Bloody Mary.
Bacon Bloody Mary? It's
bacon delicious.
How on earth you achieve that, I don't know. I'm extremely impressed. This is my impressed face.
I'm telling you, when we get to come across the pond, we'll bring some samples for sure.
Yes, please. Yes, please. But let me just check this. Are you producing that there on site?
Not on site. We have chefs down in Denver and we have chefs in Montreal, as you know, with the Capsaicin cartel, that
Yeah.
we've made some strategic alliances. I'm a great salesman. I'm a great innovator with recipes, terrible at producing it. That's not my forte. So I would rather make a deal with people where we share a piece of the pie and I use their professionalism. As you know,
Yeah.
Nico, he's a dynamite chef. Why wouldn't I produce something with him? He's way more
Boys and girls out there,
qualified.
Nico is the head honcho of the Capsaicin cartel, better known to you in the public area as El Jefe. Sorry to interrupt you, my dear boy
That's
Dylan.
okay. So we made a deal with Danny Cash down in southern US where he helps me with my recipes. He'll correct me or suggest something that's maybe better to be used. What works great fresh may not preserve well in a bottle over a year or two.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it takes me that long to use it. So it's a real nice balance where I can sell anything to anybody, but it's nice to have that professional resume behind you of people that you can lean on to help you go, hey, Dylan, let's try this. Or maybe can I suggest this? 100%.
Yeah.
So as we get into our kind of personal shelf, the collector fun side, we get into our 2 shelves of sale items. Then we just open this area up. So
What
we
do we
have
see? Featured on Hot Ones. Okay.
That's right. So we bring in a bunch of product, as you can see, that's just featured on the Hot Ones. This show has done tremendous good for everybody. So with our suppliers, we try and bring in the really ones that hit home. We've had a great selection. I've tried probably, to be honest, 95% of the inventory that we have here. There's some that I haven't tried yet that I'm getting to. So this is still just the entranceway. Then we have our famous merchandise area, some hats, some T-shirts, stuff like that. The only window in the store right there. Then we come around to our big banner. We've got a couple shirts there and that, oh, hold on. Somebody wants to say hi. You might know this person. I know you're a little jealous.
Oh, okay. Now, boys and girls out there, just to put this in a context, I fell in love with Dylan's snake a while ago. And Dylan, bless his heart, actually went off and found me one. That's actually sitting right now in my email inbox, getting ready to be bought. Dylan, there we are, boys and girls. There's a little link up between Beyond Heat in Alberta and the 420 Chilli Lounge here in Bavaria. It's that snake. Does he have a name, Dylan? Did you name him?
I had a little girl name him and I can't remember the name she told me. Well, that's my bad. It's totally slipped my mind. It will come back, but right now it's slipped my mind. So.
If it comes back, I'm going to put it on the screen here and show it to everybody. There we go.
That's awesome. Then we have our desk and obviously the business end on the other side of the desk. Beside the desk, we have 2 racks. So we do little sample bottles, the little stuff. We do homemade packs that we design with various manufacturers. Well, we'll do like 3 packs of something at a discounted price to help customers out.
And those are packs of your own products, or those are packs of other people's products?
Both. We've got High River sauces out of New York. We did a 3-pack with them. A lot of our own stuff. Pepper North out of Ontario. We did one with Nico with the Capsaicin on Kenny Lamoureux's 3 lines, KO, TKO.
Oh, yeah, the KO hot sauces. Very good hot sauces.
So we've done a few different packs. It just gives a little bit of a savings to the customer. We're trying to help them. Plus, we want to move products. So in the end, if we make a sale and it's a reduced margin, I'm okay with that because it's still moving the product and it's giving a customer a happy experience.
Yeah.
So then as we walk down into the store, we've got a rack with jelly beans, peanut brittle, pepper shakers, hot heads, peanut brittle, popcorn, wing dust, all kinds of stuff on the pepper.
Do you have any, if we're talking sweeties, do you have any of the sweeties from Nashville Hot Sweets there?
No, not yet. Not
you
yet.
really, really should. I can tell you that we deal in a lot of chili sweeties. And when it comes down to just the, how can I say it? I've never had chili sweeties before which really taste of whatever thing they're supposed to taste of. You know, like if they taste of sour lemonade, it tastes of sour lemonade. If it tastes of mango, it tastes of mango. but it will blow your tits off afterwards. You definitely need to get some of them in there. And you've got the hot heads there from Capsaicin Cartel coming in at 9 million Scovilles, if I remember correctly, yeah?
They do. I've eaten 4 of them. I haven't sold them. I've actually eaten them. I don't know if I'm going to keep selling them because they're damn tasty.
They are tasty. What do you do when you get to this level of Scoville? I mean, for us here, some of our products are not generally available. I don't sell them to youngsters, and I don't sell them to idiots, or drunk people. And so I have a restriction on certain products. Carolina Reaper chilies, for example, you better be over 18. You better not be drunk or high. And you better not be clearly a bloody idiot. And then you can buy it, How do you deal with something like a hothead, which is 9 million Scovilles? You give someone a heart attack with that. You sell it to anyone, or are you careful?
No, we're very careful. We have some hot sauces, based extracts and chemicals that we've produced too. And we're very cautious. On the ultra hots, as we call them, we try not to sell over 18, which is the drinking age here in Alberta. If they're under 18, we really don't want to sell it to them unless they have a parent with them, because we do explain how hot they can be. Even with the popcorn, we have Carolina Reaper popcorn. And what people don't realize is the vapor, once you put it in the microwave, is super intense. So that's the one reason why we're so passionate about our store. It's not like, hey, thanks for the purchase, get out, I'll take your money. We explain to them the product that they're buying. And if there's a danger with it or a caution, I explain that with them too. And I go through it in depth. I'm like, guys, don't open it under your nose. Make sure your kitchen's vented. It's like you'll gas yourself out of the house.
I heard a lovely story from a chili producer who will remain nameless. I won't go into any names right now, but this chili producer got into their business because their husband produces weaponry, and he is also a chili head. And some of the weaponry he's producing includes bear spray. And to produce the bear spray, he has obviously pure capsaicin crystals to work with. And this lovely person decided that in order to honor her husband, she'd cook these capsaicin crystals into some various, let's say, formats. I won't go into what formats as well, in the house for him. And they have 4 small children in their home. She took 16 million Scovilles worth of capsaicin crystals, threw them on the cooker with the kids running around the house, and switched it on. Can you imagine what happened? Yeah.
You bear spray yourself.
Yeah, the whole family. Bear spray the babies.
Jeez. So then we have a bigger open area. So then we go to, I don't know if you can see it, we have a limited edition rack where we kind of put signature items. So we have the chemical that was produced in the lab. We've got some ground peppers that we do in-house. We grow fresh peppers. Once we go through the growing stage, if they're still here, before they go moldy, we dehydrate them and turn them into powder. So people have all year to use them. Funny enough, I found some glass skulls that I kind of like, so we put them in there.
Ooh, cool. Nice.
We did our own pumpkin hot sauce, something very Canadian. We have another gentleman, Margaret's, out of Calgary. He's another veteran like myself. He only produces this one for my store, Raspberry Reaper.
Oh, lovely. I tell you what, raspberry is one of the best additions to the Reaper as a sauce. One of the best.
It's very nice. And then this one might hit a little close to home for you because it's our first one from overseas. This is all we have left of it.
Is that North Devon chili? I can see that.
Yeah, so we made a deal with him to bring some over. We have some of the original bottles of maple syrup. And then the absolute last 9 bottles of Kill Vlad in the collector's bottles. We own them. So we brought those in as a reward for our customers. So we like to have those kind of things on a limited edition shelves. People want to collect them, or if they want to eat them. I hope they want to collect them because I have just as much joy as eating it as collecting it. And then if you can see me here, now we get into the big stuff. Like it's a wall product. Whoa. Oh yeah. Dude. And it's we've tried to break them all down so everyone's got their own shelf. We've got a whole big wall of ultra hots. We run around here to the big barbecue section with all the rubs. There's Barb hiding in the corner. We got 41 rubs in our store as well that we like to have.
Wow.
We're trying to, and then the big thing that we found when traveling that customers love is this right here. So we have a sample station. Right now we have 74 samples on there of different bottles. We can't obviously put one of everything because it'd be just way too many. So we have a hot and ultra hot side, and then we come around to this side, and this is medium and mild side. So what we've done is we've taken all those bottles, put them into 4-ounce squeeze bottles so customers can try them with a spoon and see if they like. That's where
my
yeah,
gosh.
that's where my dead soldier bottle comes from. Is obviously when you're using a 5-ounce bottle, there's an ounce left over or thereabouts. We try and squeeze as much, so we always add a little bit in. And then we have our island where we put some signature products down there, a couple of games and stuff like that. But it's continually growing. I mean, we're battling supply issues during the COVID stage. A lot of people had problems with supplies, bottles, and everything else. So we've had to adapt some of our products, and that's why we're out of stock in some of them. They're not available. So every time we've done an order, we have to pay for a pallet. You have to pay for broker charges. You have to pay for shipping, but why not fill it? So of course, there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, sure, it sounds cool. One I ordered is Carolina Reaper and sweet potato. Why?
Ooh, wow.
Have a hot sauce with sweet potato in it, and I wanted it. So, it's not
I
just
could follow that.
yeah, it's not just about filling a pallet. It's about doing some research on what we want on that pallet to make sure it moves. If it doesn't sell in the store, and it happens, you'll order a product you think is going to be good, and it just doesn't move. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. So, some of those chances you got to take. But we're trying to develop what our clientele like. Online is always tough. We do a lot of online sales and ship across Canada. But I think the sample station, every hot sauce store that wants the success to the next level, you need to have that. If people are spending £2, a pound, $2, $3 a bottle, they're not going to care. It's coffee money, whatever. It's only a couple of dollars for a bottle. Sure, I'll buy it. When you're spending 10, 15, 20, sometimes $50 for a bottle. Okay, so when people pay good money for a bottle of hot sauce, you don't want them to waste it. I mean, it's bad to waste money in this day and age. Everybody's tight. The economies are changing. If you're paying a couple dollars for a bottle, you're willing to take that chance. The sample station has helped us increase sales because somebody comes in and goes, oh, that one looks really good. Let me try it. By all means, here you go. You can write it off at the end of the day for taxes under promotion. So why not? Why not give your customer that whole satisfaction where they can come in and try whatever they want? They might go from one bottle they intended to buy to 6 or 8 or a case. And we've seen the increased sales in that. And I learned that from a US guy that I was dealing with, trying to get into business with them or learn from them. They had a sample station, and I ended up leaving his store with 60 bottles. So did it work? 100% it worked, because everything I tried that I liked, I bought.
Dude, what you've got there is very rare in the world. You know that, yeah? I hope you know that.
No, I don't actually. I kind of kept my eyes open. And like I said, anyone that has a business, whether it's related to hot sauce or not, I look at what they're doing to be successful, and I take bits and pieces from everybody. Well, that works there. Well, why don't we incorporate that? Like, we never even thought about having a sample station. We thought about having samples, like, a little bit here and there. And when we seen these guys in Florida, when we met with them, I'm like, they had 100, 200 samples in their store. Massive, but it's a corporate store. And their idea was you either go all corporate or nothing. Excuse me, all corporate or nothing. And I'm of the belief, well, there's so many small crafters that make great sauces. Why can't I showcase them all? I don't want to be thumb pressed under the corporate screws. And that's what fueled my fire to be an independent, going, hey, I like his stuff. Oh, I like his stuff. Oh, I love that stuff. I want it all. I don't want to be limited to one brand. And that's how we came up with that.
It's a difference between the North American model and the European model, very much so, Like over here, the tendency you find is what we do basically, or Crazy Bastard do in Berlin, or there's a number of us around where you're going to find a restaurant, included in the hot sauce store where people are ordering food. and the product is on the table and they can eat it with the product. But I'm sorry, Dylan, I have been bouncing around different hot sauce sellers across the States, Australia, and so on. But the extensive nature of what you're offering there is really very seldomly found.
Wow.
You must know that, surely.
Well, to me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, if I only carried 10 to 100 sauces, sure, I probably wouldn't have a sample station. But because we want to carry so many, I mean, maybe that's a disorder from the military. Maybe it's an ego thing. I want to be the biggest. I don't know. Maybe it's an asshole trigger that I'm like, screw the corporate guy. The little guys can make money and we can be better because we're more sociable. We have more fun doing it. I don't know. I don't know what it is in me, but every time I have a new shipment come in, not only do I want a bottle for my home collection, but I want to share that, you know, and we've done that with our own. We have 2 new brands. As you know, the F word gets dropped quite a bit. And I don't mean the word fuck. I mean the word Franks. We call that the F word in our store. So what we did with Nico from the Capsaicin Cartel, we came up with a plan. I said, Nico, I want a sauce that we can make a spoof of Frank's. And I said, but I want gourmet. I want a sauce that hits it out of the park on the taste and just the levels that leave people wanting more. We did. So we came up with a sauce. The ingredients are just phenomenal. And we called it Who's Frank? So then that launched and it blew our minds on the rate that it's going out. J-Bob has already ordered some from Nico direct. It's blown
I believe from what I heard about your sales figures on that, I spoke to the Capsaicin Cartel during the development process. I tried to offer a design for the label and it was rejected by LFA over there. My design for your label, I don't know if he told you, but I used in Europe we call it Where's Wally. In North America you call it Where's Waldo, don't you? Isn't that right? Yeah. I used the Where's Waldo design. When we were talking about it some time ago, I put together, ask LFA, he's probably still got a copy of it, my original design for your sauce. And it was horribly rejected, may I add. But the info I got from the Capsaicin Cartel was that thing went 30, 40 cases before it was even cooked, didn't it?
Crazy, because Nico produced a small sample case because we wanted to test it with local people and just see how the reception was. Because we like it doesn't mean that it's going to be a good sauce. And we tested it with people who use Frank's on everything, and that's their go-to thing. And these people were like, oh my God, take my money and take it now. We had some test cases sent out here, gone within hours of hitting the shelves in the store. I sold out in a day. Unbelievable. So then as we're going to make a bigger batch, and we knew we would, but we didn't realize the initial test stage would be that phenomenal of a reaction. So then I said, okay, we've got Frank's Ghost, and you've seen the labels. It's kind of a spoof on Frank's. It's very similar, but it's not trademark infringement. And we came up with a saying and everything else, and that's all on the bottle. And then I'm like, Nico, I need something hotter. So what we did is we swapped out the habanero peppers with Ghost. So not only do we have Who's Frank, we also now have Frank's Ghost. So we have 2 in the line that we've developed. We just received the new shipment on Saturday, and we've already sold a case of each in the span of a day, essentially. It's nuts. It's going so quick. Now, in development, as a little secret, we have a 3rd one in this line that, my name being Dylan, we're going to call it Frank's Double D. And this one's going to be off the rails, foolishly hot.
You say off the rails, foolishly hot there.
Correct.
Are you talking Capsaicin Cartel's LFA's format of freakishly hot? Because if you are, I think you need to apply for some kind of nuclear weapons license in order to sell that, I would suggest.
Between the two of us, we've got a couple trade secrets that we're going to share with one another, and we're going to come up with something that's not tasty. Like it's going to be tasty as well, but it's going to hit you hard. Like it's going to be for those ultimate chili heads that really want that special go-to one every once in a while. If that's your go-to sauce, oh man, I envy you. But we want to make something that hits really hard, but still has the impact of a phenomenal gourmet chef taste.
Actually, you know something that I'm just thinking about right now is that this is something that Dylan and I discussed some time ago regarding ranch sauce, because I was fascinated by his ranch, because in Europe, ranch sauce is not so much of a thing as it is in the North American area. And so to find what you would call a good quality ranch sauce over here is a very, very infrequent happening. Now, I realize as we're having this discussion about wing sauce that actually that's a similar issue here in Europe. Maybe there will be a lot of European eyes watching this, so maybe just let the Europeans know. What do you mean by a wing sauce? What defines a wing sauce?
A wing sauce is really anything that you want to make your own. And nowadays, where back in the day, people were like, oh, it's a chicken wing sauce, and that's all they would put it on. Well, now sauces are so good and so gourmet that they don't just go on chicken wings anymore. My ghost pepper ranch that we make, it was made because I like ranch, but I don't like the tanginess of it. And I'm a chili head, so I need heat. So we made it. So I put it on mashed potatoes, pork chops, pizza, dipping sauce for my wings. I put it on my tomatoes in my friggin' salad. So just because somebody says it's a chicken wing sauce doesn't mean that that's all it's good for. So you can take a sauce that you like, Unami Dragon, capsaicin. I hate going back to one guy all the time, but man, he makes a good product. So
they are one of the best in the market right now. I mean, if I had to throw up what I would call my favorite producers or favorite sources right now, there are several from Capsaicin Cartel in that. And I think, I'm sorry to say this, no insult to the Capsaicin Cartel or any other producer globally, but I do have a special spot for Island Sons. The owner of Island Sun is Jeff Davis. Mr. Davis's Bayesian Tiger is, I hope you carry that there, because if you don't, I'm very disappointed.
No, I'm actually getting Barb to grab it. Bayesian Tiger, we have it on the shelf in a nice glass jar. It's awesome looking. It's very tasty. We struck up a relationship with Jeff not that long ago.
There you go. There you go. Now, I actually posted a look at that stuff. Just hold that up to the camera. Go on, just show them the color of that.
Beautiful.
You know the way that came to me. And Jeff Davis is the owner of Island Sun, and he was completely perplexed by the fact that I knew what this fucking thing was. And I had to explain to him that we're a chili shop, and so people who like chili come here. And we have a number of Canadian customers, and they'll often bring me things, and that was brought to me by several Canadian customers. And that's I would call that a once in a lifetime hot sauce. It's very hard to describe I'm in Germany, and so I have to use local references for them to understand what I'm talking. Yeah, I always think about piccalilli when I think about that sauce, and it's not like it tastes like piccalilli, but it's the first thing that comes in my mind, and that's the bit that's very hard to explain because there's no piccalilli here, so they can't understand me, But then, no, if we talk about the best sauces, in my opinion, definitely we've got Capsaicin Cartel right up there. And I still have not had my hands on your Frank sauces that you have co-produced. So I am looking forward to getting some of that down me. I really am. I'm very surprised that you're selling on the Kill Vlads and the old style bottle Hot A or Dirty Sanchez from that company. So what do you do when you have a collector's item like that? Yeah. How on earth can you price that? 48 bottles of something exists in the world. How?
Want to be fair to our customers as well. I mean, yeah, because I own the last 9 bottles of it, I can charge whatever I want, and I'll get whatever I want for them. But I'm not that greedy. I'm not a corporate guy that needs to retire, buy another ship, buy another apartment, have a vacation home in Aspen, bullshit like that. I want people to experience it. That's why I'm feet on the ground. I'm the guy they see when they walk in that door. I don't hire an employee to do my shit. I do it myself. Am I cheap? No, I'm passionate. So if I can buy that at a reasonable price, the small crafter I get it from, if he makes his money, which keeps him in business, which gives us more product to get from, if he makes a bit of money, I make a bit of money, and that customer leaves my store happy at the end of the day, that's not all it means to me. If I have to cut my margins to be in competition with somebody else, I don't really want to do that. I welcome anybody else in my area that wants to open up a hot sauce store in the grand vision that we have. I mean, that'll just feed my ego even more, and I'll just go get more. But I will never argue with anybody on the price. We can't compete. You can't compete with Amazon. You can't compete with the big box stores. We don't have that buying power. So what do? Is we offer customer service and quality products that are going to blow you away that you're not going to find anywhere else. So that's what we want to offer to the customers. That I think people collect wine, right? I have a collection of wine at home. I don't drink. I just collect the shit. Why can't we collect hot sauce? Why not? It's different. It's like a fine wine. You know, it gets better with age.
I think actually for the boys and girls out there in the wonderful world of podcast land, what you can see here is a very good example, and it's a good place for us to end today, actually. This is a very good example of the two realities that exist in this world that are created from inside the individual themselves, yeah? So you could talk to people about what's a business, and they will tell you a business is war, right? They will tell you it's about fighting. They'll tell you it's about, I'm going to outprice you. I'm going to rip your customers off. I'm going to this, I'm going to that. Bum, bum, bum. Fight, 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 fight. And there's people, they really honestly believe that that's what it is, right? And that's how they live, and that's how they exist, and that's what they do, right? But what they don't realize, those people, is the war is created inside their own heads. Yeah, they are creating the war around themselves, because you got dudes like that. You can see right there, and you just heard, or me, yeah, dudes who love something, passionate about something, and we want to do stuff together. We want to be a community. We want to be the Chilli Nation in our context, you know. And I'm not here to have a war with anyone. Dylan's not here to have a war with anyone. We're just here to do our thing and really enjoy it, and to bring that love and that passion to you, you see? And that means I don't got a war around me. Okay, I'm not talking about the world generally. I mean, in my little environment. Dylan, are you at war with anyone?
Nobody. Like I said, I mean, I would take a smaller margin to make a happier customer than be corporate driven and be driven by margin. That's not how I want to operate.
There you go. Now that's what you got to do, my friends. Of course, you got to buy local. Of course, you got to support your local economy, right? But just remember, out there, when you look at the world around you, there's people like Dylan, there's people like us over here. Yeah, we're here because we want to be here, and we're not fighting anyone. We just loving and having passion for what we do. And if you want to find the real place to go and do some cool shit and have some cool fun, that place in Alberta that you're looking at right there, this place in Gostenhof that you're looking at right here, that's where the people are really doing our thing. We're not at war with anyone. We're in love with what we do. And we take great pleasure from sharing it with you. Don't we, Dylan?
Oh, 100%, my brother. I think, you know, that's the reason we're in business, is because we're passionate about it. We have so much love for what we do. And I think when people come in, they see it. And I think when they come in and talk to someone like yourself, someone like myself, Barb, Nico, any of those guys, I think people understand how passionate we are about it and everything else. And it shows, when our customers come in and they leave that 5-star review, which I never used to be driven about. But hey, I guess on Google, when you get a 5-star review, that's pretty important. So I look forward to that. And I look forward to the comments where they're like, great experience, knowledgeable, friendly, willing to spend time. That's the shit you don't hear anymore. Like, when's the last time you went to a big box store and somebody says, you sure you got everything you need? Is there anything we can help you with? I just got to pop into the back here where you just got a customer walking in. So I think that's the biggest difference between small crafters, sole proprietors, and big corporate stores is that we want the customer for life. That pays our bills and that puts food on my table. And we want them to be excited and happy about the experience that they have.
There you go. Now, boys and girls, get your asses over to Beyond Heat if you happen to be in the Alberta area. If not, jump on their website. You know how to find it. That means you got to Google Beyond Heat Alberta, and then you're going to get it right there, right at the top of your Google results. Buy, because this is the real blood of what our economy and our lives should be. Passion and love. From me, from my buddy over there in Alberta, we'd love to say ciao for now.
See you guys. Thank you.